Cotton here, and you guys know how much I love an empowered woman and I love sharing an empowered woman and their story with us. So I am super excited about my guest today. I have the Wynter Patterson, who is known as the badass unicorn healer. We're gonna figure out why that is her code name as well. But Wynter is a television personality, talk show host, spiritual teacher, celebrated author, and highly sought after inspirational speaker. So Wynter is going to tell us about all of those job roles that she has and how she has time to stay looking fabulous. So welcome, Wynter.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yes. So just to rewind, you know how you girls always out hanging at some event in Houston, and I was at some launch, something I forgot what, a reality launch or screening party, and so I'm like, oh, who is this fine woman that just walked in here? Winter had her little dress on, got the little side out and everything. I said, oh my goodness! And then as I'm talking to her, I'm like, oh my gosh, not only is she gorgeous, but she's smart as well, and also empowering and entertaining. So I
Thank
was like, I
you.
need you to be on my show because we need to share your story. So,
Yes.
yeah, so
Thank
first,
you.
of course, girl, I love it. I love it. So let's start with, because I want to know again, whenever we're talking about reality shows, and I do hear a lot of people that say, oh, I should do reality TV, or that will segue me into getting on television, or maybe I should go this route and get into some type of dysfunctional reality show to show a different side of me. And a lot of people that I talk to, either they're super happy that they chose to go the reality route, or they are regretful because of how their character was portrayed on TV. So, can you tell us about your opinion and I guess your experience with the reality avenue?
I feel like my experience was actually pretty good, but I was very intentional with a lot of things. Like, I chose a show that was going to be on the OWN network. So it wasn't going to be, people throwing wine in people's faces and jumping across tables. Like, I knew that there was a certain level of excellence and a certain level of maturity that this show would bring. And so that was probably, one of the first things. Like, okay, I don't want raunchy. I never wanted to be on TV tearing down another woman. Like, that's just not even my part of my DNA. And so when the opportunity came to me, which it came and found me, I didn't seek it out at all. When it came, it was like, okay, this is something I can do. And there were parts of the show that I didn't like that they constructed. But for the most part, I feel like they allowed me to stay in my authenticity, which is, who I am. I am a, caring person. I am a sensitive person. I am a person that is very honest, and I think that that also came through along with some of the mess.
Mm, yeah, I'm the same way. And even like I'll get people in my like my business email and they're asking me about reality stuff, and I'm I'm thinking I don't trust y'all. Like I don't trust. I have created this whole brand of Holly Cotton,
Yes.
and in one episode you can destroy it, because even when I go on podcasts, again, you can attest to this as well. I'll say something and they will splice it,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, so you took four different conversations and made it one statement.
Hmm.
That is not what I said at all. So if
Yeah.
people can do that on that, you definitely have to navigate it. So I love that it worked out positively for you.
Yeah.
Now, whenever you or I guess whenever you guys are, because I assume you keep in touch with the other cast members of the season that you were on. So does everyone kind of feel that same, I guess, I guess they feel like they were portrayed in a positive way? Does everyone feel that way?
No.
Okay.
No, not everyone. I feel
You
like
saw me, Winter. I was trying to be politically correct before I said it. Right.
No, I feel like I was very fortunate in a lot of ways. And I still like I had my own curveballs. I had my own things that I'm like, no, 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 no. This is not what I wanted the world to see. But overall I was, very happy with how it turned out. But I have, other cast members that like I've one cast member like I don't even want to watch the show. I'll never watch it. I never want to, even see the rest of, what they portrayed. So yeah, no, there are plenty of people that were not happy, that feel like they were made to be a villain or, things of that nature. But, it is what it is. It's a gamble.
Hmm.
You just got to know what you're getting into and accept whatever happens. And like I said, I was fortunate in a lot of ways.
Well, I know that whenever you're looking at a sitcom, right? There are characters that are built into that sitcom. So you have the villain, you have the crazy kooky neighbor, you have the sexy vixen. So those are scripts. So when you're doing reality, they sort of have to script you into those same roles. So sometimes you don't even know that's what your role. You're thinking you're going in as the church lady and they have you penciled in as the sexy vixen. So now everything is like, wait a
Well,
minute.
I think it's a little of both. Like some of it may be scripted, but sometimes if you give them the ammunition, they're like, okay, well, we can actually spin it this way. Like, okay,
Mhm.
well, if you go into confession and you're, dragging everybody down and talking about how you hate everybody, then naturally that's going to come out on screen and you will become a villain to the
Villain.
people that watch. So
Right, right, right. I know that
and
would
that just
be.
wasn't me. Like I'm just not that person. I
Mhm.
feel like when I did the show I was a lot more naive than I am now, even though it wasn't that long ago. um but I really wanted to get along with everybody and I did, and that was good for me.
Well, good. Yeah, I met someone on a different season and she was like, "Oh my god, it was the worst thing ever. Oh my god, it ruined my life. I've gained 35 pounds and
Oh
this." And I said,
gosh.
"Oh, okay."
It's very stressful too, and I will say, my season was unique in that we were on a resort the whole time,
Mm,
and we would film over like 18-hour days, like from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning, every single day, with no breaks. And
mm.
so it was exhausting and it does take a lot out of you. So it could go, I could see that happening.
Yes, well, just to sidebar on that, but yeah, like I started, I guess whenever I was like trying to figure out if I wanted to model or if I wanted to act, and so I had my first little role that I got. Girl, when I was on set, it was like you said, it was dawn until dusk
Yeah.
and beyond. And I said,
Mhm.
you know what? Pick somebody else because this
Get somebody else to do
it's
it.
it's not even you. It's not there. You just have to be on set the whole day. I said, oh no, this is too much. I want to come in, do my part, and be gone. So
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
understand. Okay, so let's go back to this badass unicorn healer because that is a very interesting title to be called. So what's the story with that?
I had a mentor that worked with me that really helped me to uncover some of my spiritual gifts. And she was just like, you're like a unicorn. Like, you're just so unique, but you're also a badass. And I just, from that point, we kind of took it, and I took it. I'm like, yeah, I'm badass. I'm unique, and it kind of gave me almost like my alter ego. Like, okay, I step into this badass unicorn healer role, and I'm totally um invincible. I'm not scared. There's no fear. And so it kind of became like an alter ego. But yeah, that's where it came from. My mentor gave me that beautiful name and it just stuck.
So, how did you find? Because, excuse me, a lot of times people find, I guess, their spiritualness from something that happened, either a push or a pull. And a lot of times it's that pull of pain rather than the push of, let me try this. It's usually, oh my God, like, what do I do now? I hit rock bottom. I got to figure out how to get myself out of here. So, how did you sort of embark in this spiritual role?
I think, I think the breakdown happened after my divorce.
Mm.
I had a very, very abusive marriage and a very painful divorce. in that even though I had been in such a terrible situation, I didn't want to let go. I didn't want to be divorced. I wanted to stay married. Um and so I think that's when the breakdown happened. It became I started to soul search, like, okay, not what did he do, but why did I allow this to go on? Why did I allow the emotional abuse to go on? Why did I, choose this person? And so it was, the soul searching that came with that. And, over time, I had people that came into my life that challenged me, that challenged my belief system. And sometimes you have to be honest, like, okay, wait, I believe this, but is this true? Is there more? Do I need to, look into this more closely? And it was like the walls start coming down. I started seeing God as bigger. Like God is so much bigger than what I understood, being such a church girl. And so that I think the divorce was what started, and just getting to those brick walls in life where you're like, okay, there's more. There's more, and I got to figure this out. And so, yeah, it was birthed through pain. Absolutely. Great question.
Mm. And it's so funny you said that because I just had a conversation with someone. I was on a podcast myself, and they were asking a question, and I forgot the verbiage of the question, but the answer that I gave was, I was saying how it was such a struggle for me, and it still is a struggle for me, being such a strong woman,
Hmm.
that I allowed myself to get hurt in
Yeah.
situations, because you see yourself, and you can attest to this too, Winter. Like, people see you as this boss person. You got
Hmm.
it all figured out. I'm like, I got 38 jobs. I'm this entrepreneur. I'm juggling. I
Yeah.
got this mom thing done. All of this stuff. And then I'll sit down and be like, I really let this man make me
Yeah.
feel like I wasn't nothing. What was
Yeah.
wrong with me? And it's a forgiveness that's so hard,
A
because
self compassion, self forgiveness. Yeah.
yeah, and we think that it's supposed to be we're forgiving the other person, but no, it's hard because we're mad at ourselves. It's the forgiveness. So walk us through that, because I know we're going to talk about your book and everything, but as you in this sort of inspirational part, give us some insight into how did you do that? How did you forgive yourself? How did you make sure that you did not impair your self-esteem whenever you went through that dark period?
It didn't, I I didn't get it right at first. Like I spent probably a year or more in guilt, borderline depression, like wanting, grieving my marriage so much that I actually wanted it back. Like this was normal to me. Like and so no, I didn't get it right at first. I definitely spent a lot of time blaming myself for a long time. um and it wasn't until I really just started focusing on self love and really started building in practices that were healing for me, tools, right? That helped me to pick myself up, giving myself time, like, looking. I have this tendency, which I think a lot of women do, I have a tendency to romanticize people in my life, right? Like I see you as amazing. If you're in my life, you're beautiful. You're so amazing. Oh my God, you're so wonderful. And I will forget and forgive
Mhm.
way too much, right? And so I had to come to a real, look at myself, like, you see people way more better than they really are. Like, and so I had to be honest with myself. So it was not only, just using the tools, being honest with myself and giving myself compassion. Like, yes, you were naive. Yes, that wasn't the best decision, but it was the best decision with what I knew at the time. It was the best decision with the wounds that I had from, wherever I got them. And so that's where the self-compassion comes in. It's like, sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and that's okay. We grow.
Yeah, I tell everybody I'm on my growth journey. Some days I'm grown, you get the Holly Cotton. Some days I'm not. You get Holly Ray from back in the day. Like I can't guarantee it's a growth journey, and you have to heal every day. You're never going to be healed
Absolutely.
with the ed, it's always healing. So I love that you
Absolutely.
said that. Yes, so I listen,
Absolutely.
I'm
One
on a
day
whole
I'm
journey.
preaching and teaching, next day I'm screaming at God. Like, it's a journey.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Okay, so I also want to talk to you about, as you're talking about this journey and as you're talking about your growth. I love that you are into this physical improvement phase right now
Absolutely.
because one, I'm a fitness fanatic, and so I've been like, I'm always in the gym. I just stopped posting workout videos because people were like, "Do you do anything else besides?"
Yeah.
So so now I like
People get
rarely
mad
post.
at you.
Yeah, yeah. So now I just post on my story. But I love when I see other people that are doing fun things. So I want to kind of get into that because if anyone's following you, they're like, oh wait, so she's doing this, and what is this other thing with the suit that you have on? So kind of tell us about your, I guess, your motivation of where you were like, you know what? This is my goal. This is what I want to do. And then some of the things that you've implemented since then.
Yeah, you know what? I started my fitness journey out of boredom, to be honest. Like I always, believed in taking care of myself and working out, but I came to a place where I wanted to incorporate really healthy habits, and I wanted to, you know, do things that were healing. Like I don't want to just binge Netflix all day, right? And so I went through this time of like, okay, what do I need? What can I do? Well, let me go to the gym. Let me go to a yoga class. Let me go, do something and be physical. And from there, it became like, you start doing that and you start to love the endorphins, the dopamine, how good you feel afterward. And it becomes addictive. And so I just, started to really enjoy that. And now I do the sauna workouts, which are absolutely amazing. Like when you combine the benefits of the infrared energy, which is so healing to us on a cellular level. And then you combine it with the great workout. You got those feel good endorphins. You come out, you look at your, abs and your skin. You're like, okay, I can keep doing this. This feels pretty good. And so that's kind of how that started. But, I'm all about how can I feel good? How can I use my time to better myself? And I think one of those ways is being active and and moving that energy.
I love that. And actually, I just said that to someone. They were like, you're all, because I literally post on my story every day my little after gym picture, right? And so
Mhm.
for a couple of days, I didn't post it. And I had people in my DMs, they were like, so you're missing the gym? Oh, you laid off or whatever. And I'm like, oh, y'all miss me in the gym. But somebody
Yeah.
said, why do you work out so much? And I said, just what kind of like what you said. I said, why not? There are so many unhealthy things that you can do that
Yeah.
are unhealthy. Why do you guys feel the need to say something about something that's healthy? Like it's a healthy
Right.
passion. But that's social media, people trying to control your life all the time. But anywho,
Yeah.
I digress. I digress. Okay. So
Yes.
before we go into your projects, I kind of wanted to also talk about whenever it's because I know you do several different things.
Mhm.
So whenever I see people that are doing several different jobs, several different passions, still having time to work out, still having time to, have a social life, what do you do to sort of create some type of balance with all of those roles?
I think a lot of it, and this is, not to sound all like, hippie or whatever, but really it's kind of following your intuition. Like some days you really got to kind of wake up and see what your body is saying. You got to see what's going on. Some days I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm hitting the gym, and my body's like, no, I think we should probably take a nap. And I'll take a nap and maybe go later or not at all. So I think it's like every day it's not only it's very good for me to be organized. I like to be organized. Like to know what my day looks like, but also surrendering to those intuitive nudges. Sometimes I'm sitting in my house like, okay, what am I going to do this weekend? Let me see. Maybe I'll take a yoga class or a pole dancing class. Let me see if someone's pole dancing this weekend. Let me see if I can take a belly dance class. Like, just kind of going with the flow on a lot of things and allowing yourself to experience. I feel like every day God or the universe is just throwing up all of these options. What do you want to do? You want to do this? 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 And you just gotta, pick one. Like choose some things that you can add to your life that's going to enhance. And if you really want to do it, you'll have time. I promise you. You just watch 3 seasons of a show. You can add in a tennis class or whatever it is that you want to do. So
Right. They've literally watched all the seasons of Ready to Love, but you don't have time to go work out.
right,
Interesting. So
right.
going into that sort of, I guess, your entrepreneur side and all of the things that you're doing, I do know that you are very excited about a project coming up. You're going to give us
Yeah.
a little sneak peek into your book that you have. Hold on, because I also made sure. Oh my gosh, I thought I took a screenshot of it. Oh, I must have accidentally deleted it. Okay, so just go tell us the book, the title, and I guess the premise of it, how you came up with the idea. Like, give us all the intel on the book.
Yeah, so the book is called Healers Come Out of Hiding. And the book is really for people who, like us, people who have some type of desire to help. And that could be in any way. A healer can be an artist, a teacher, a spiritual leader, a comedian, like someone who is using their gifts to uplift humanity. And what I found is that most people who are healers deal with some type of, fear or imposter syndrome, or we've overcome things that, have tried to hold us back. And so the book kind of addresses those things and lets you know, like, yeah, we've all, experienced those things. You're not alone. And also helps people to overcome the limiting beliefs that have held them back. Because, you know, I always tell people, like, I've preached all over the world on at least on 3 continents, led mission trips, led conferences, preached in pulpits all over the world, and I still, deal with imposter syndrome. And so the book kind of just helps, to help you to get the tools that you need, and the encouragement so that you can, move forward in this time where it's so needed. Like we need healers more than ever now that people are finally starting to wake up.
Okay, and I figured it out, you guys. It was in my Instagram DM. I'm going to
There,
show you the book right here. Where is it? Okay, here we go. All right, so be prepared right here.
yeah. Thank you.
Yes, I was like, I know I had it, but it was in my Instagram DM. So whenever you're talking about the book and people ask you why did you write it, if someone said right now, okay, I know you gave us the whole narrative about it, but if someone says, why did you decide to write a book? Why did you decide to write this book? Because a lot of times people have an idea and they don't know how to actually execute that or how to put that into a book, or the I guess the reasoning of a book or what a book has. Like some people just don't. They have a story to tell, they have some ideas, they just don't know how to make that come into fruition. So if somebody comes up to you and they're like, well, why did you write a book? That's stupid. Why did you write a book? Or why you want to write a book? Or what, like what would be your answer for the why?
It was really, ministering to myself and to people like me. And when I started to speak up about my own issues and the things that I dealt with, I found that I had a whole big, humongous amen corner. So there were other people that were dealing with the same things. There are people who, were maybe raised in a particular religion who are now, starting to veer away from it, who need the confidence and the instructions on how do I move from this very rigid existence to the bigness of who I am. for me, moving into my authenticity, like I like working out, I like to dress sexy, I like to dance, I like, all of these things that, in my former life and the way that I was raised would have been frowned upon. And so this book kind of serves as a manual. Like, if you are in that place, it's okay. Like, let's walk through how you can start to live in your authenticity and be exactly who you were called to be, which is a healer. And it's just, I can't wait to share it. This is actually my third book, but this is the first one of this genre that really
Mm.
deals with spirituality outside of church. So,
And I love that. And actually, that's so funny. I had a guy. He's a huge, huge, huge person in in um in I guess the Christian world or whatever. He's preaches all over the world, does all of this. Anyway, I had a conversation with him and I said, in this generation that we're in now, because a lot of us come from the old school Southern Baptists,
hmm,
I grew up in the revival Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
yes, ma'am.
Sunday, all day, getting ate by the mosquitoes in the tent,
Yep.
like
Yep. At church hungry because you done been there all day like you starving.
children's church, song service, big church. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the,
Hmm.
the trauma. But I was saying that a lot of the younger people now, or even the millennials, or they're sort of not into that sect religion. They're more into the spirituality. And so I asked
Absolutely.
him about his opinion about it, and he said that just like you I heard you say it a few times as well, the spirituality. So I think people have to also figure out what that means to them, because sometimes people, whenever you're talking about spiritualness, they automatically assume that it is always religious. But some people are spiritual and they might have a different belief or a different religion other than Christianity. So we can
Absolutely.
all be a mutual spiritualness, even though I don't believe in Buddha or I'm not Muslim, but we still have this spiritualness. So I love that you kept bringing that up into it as well. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
Yeah.
And so my last question that I have is also something that you just said. And this is something that I fight with people about all the time. Just the fight now is they leave a comment and I delete it. But probably like 2 years ago on my growth journey, I was kind of adamant about I'm gonna be who I want to be. You can't tell me how I'm gonna live my life. So I want you to also divulge into that, because you said how I can be sexy and still be a Christian. So I would love to hear you explain that to people who are like, you can't be a Christian and be hot. You can't have your stomach out. You can't have a crop top out. You can't be bending over. You can't have a booty and still be love Jesus. So I want to hear your opinion, Winter, about that, because you is fine and you be having a little side out, but
I
yet
be
you
having
still
it
like
out.
don't get carried away. I love my Jesus. So why don't you tell us about your opinion on that?
I watched a movie a while ago. It was called Eat, Pray, Love.
Hmm.
And I remember she said something that was so pivotal to me, and she said, God loves me as me. And it was so freeing for me because I've always felt that God knows how he made me. God knows, the time I put in the gym. Okay. God knows that this is what I like, and I think that it is, a disservice if you are being inauthentic. I think that God wants us to be authentic. God wants us to be who we are, who he created us to be. And you also have to think, when it comes to women, a lot of the constructs that we are living under, we're not. created with fairness in mind. They were not created with, an idea to help. They were actually created to hinder and to suppress. And so when you consider that, and you consider, that God knows how he made you, and he knows the buttons that he put in and all your preferences, your likes and dislikes, then it's easier for you to start to embrace who you are. And so, that's where I am. It's like I want to preach in a crop top, and I will. This doesn't take anything away from the message. It doesn't take anything away from God. I believe that God is glorified in the fact that I celebrate the way that he created me. And the last thing I'll say is, when you are trying to look like someone else, the people that you're assigned to will not recognize you. Um, when I first started preaching, I used to preach in, long skirts, clergy collar. I had these long handkerchiefs with diamonds on them, and I would just wave them, and I was so Pentecostal, even though I was Baptist. I was just such the church woman. And it wasn't me. It was, me trying to look like what I thought was necessary. What, my mentor at the time told me I shouldn't show my arms. And so I never showed my arms. And I'm like, but why? And so those were some of the layers that I peeled back. But I believe that God is interested in our authenticity. And that's what I'm striving to be every single day.
That is a great answer. I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. I just want to throw it in there because I got to remind people too. Like, hello, I'm a mom. Yes, I'm gonna be Michelle Obama today, and if I go to Las Vegas, I'm gonna have on a bikini tomorrow. Mind your business.
Listen, my last few pictures were bikini pictures. I'm like, hey, this was a great vacation. I want to share this. And
Yes,
yeah,
yes. Now you ain't gonna make no comment about it. I'm gonna delete your comment, but you gonna see the picture. I love it. So, Wynter, tell us about any other projects that you have going on, and then how we can follow, like, and support you.
absolutely. So everything is really starting now. I'm really, been kind of behind the scenes working. So I have the book Healers Come Out of Hiding, which is available at almost any book retailer. It's also available on my website, winterpatterson.com. I have a community, the Hope and Healing Tribe, that I'm starting, which I am so excited because I love to teach. I love to share spiritual wisdom. And the community is all about that. It's about networking and being able to grow together, being able to answer those hard questions. I have that. And then there's a speaking tour that's coming together. So just be on the lookout. Follow me on Instagram at Wynter Patterson, and then winterpatterson.com with a Y, and it'll all be there. But super exciting things coming up.
Well, I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm so happy that you chose to share your story with Holly Cotton Conversation. So thank you so much. And you guys, I will have all of Wynter's information as well as taggable links in the podcast notes. So be sure to scroll down, be sure to follow, subscribe, get the new book that's about to be popping. Get your life together. Get, whether you're spiritual or you're religious, we hitting
It's all covered.
all the
Wherever you
spectrums.
fall on the spectrum, we covered it.
I love it. I love it. All right. Thank you, Wynter.
Thank you so much for having me.